Okay everyone, welcome back to another video, and if you guys like these kind of videos, be sure to subscribe and check out my channel. I've been working, other than these quick tutorial videos, I've been working on a Flask web app, and I've started from scratch. I didn't know anything about Flask, and I slowly gained skills and knowledge of Flask, and I've been making a web app from the beginning. And if you enjoy that kind of stuff too, feel free to check that out and make the project with me. And that can be something to, potentially add to a portfolio if you're starting out, right? The more the merrier. So anyway, today we're going to look at how to select in SQLite 3 and Python. And last video we worked on inserts, and then after this video I plan on talking about parameters and why they are pretty useful in SQL. So today, let's go ahead and look at some of the select operators. And there's a few. There's Fetch1, Fetchmany, and Fetchall that we're going to take a look at. So I have my database here. If you don't know what this is a SQLite database like GUI that allows you to create the databases and open it and view the data. You can search for DB browser for SQLite in Google, and you can download this tool. It's perfectly free, and it's really nice to have if you don't have anything to analyze your SQLite data. So I guess I need to show you this. I added a few more users to our table users. We don't have much information. We just have an ID that auto increments, and then we have a username, and that's all of the tables that we have. So if I wanted to, I could do something like select all from users, right? And that would give us all of the IDs and all of the users. So it would look like something like this: select all from users. And then notice how we don't need the commit anymore because we're not actually saving anything. If we're inserting or deleting or updating, we need to commit to save those changes, but since we're selecting, that isn't necessary. But the rest of it's fairly similar. We have the import, we have the connection, we have the cursor, we have our SQL statement, and then cursor.execute. And now comes the question, where do we put this data and how do we read from it? So we're going to start from the very beginning. We're going to start with fetch all, which, as it implies, it's going to give us all of the results from this query, which is probably a typical case. This is probably what you'll be using most often. So I'm going to go ahead and make a variable called results. And that's just going to equal cursor.fetchAll. And this is a method, so we have to open and close it with parentheses. Okay, and let's just go ahead and print out what results is going to actually look like. And here you will see that it's going to come out as a tuple. So let's go ahead and run this. And you can see now it's a list of different tuples. And each tuple is a row in our database since we are selecting all. Now if I just did something like select username from users, and we go ahead and run that, it's just going to be a tuple of the username and then a list of those, as you can see here. So if we wanted to do something like a for loop, so for result and results, and we wanted to display all of the results of our select query, we could do something like this. We could print the string of result index 0 plus, and then we can give it a few spaces, and then plus another string result, result, and then index 1, because there's only 2 columns total. And let me save that, and we can run that. Tuple index out of range. Okay, so it's mad. I forgot that we changed it to just username. So now if we change this to select all and we go ahead and run it, we should see the ID and then the username, and it goes down through the whole thing until it reaches the end. So that is how we can fetch all of the results. And let's say we just wanted to fetch the first one for whatever reason that may be. We can use the fetch1 method, and then if I go ahead and print out what results, and maybe we should name it result since it's no longer plural, and let's go ahead and run that. It's just going to give us the first one that it finds, and then stop there. It's not going to give us any more. So lastly, I'm not sure when this would come into effect for you, but maybe there's a use case for this. I'm sure there is, or they wouldn't have made it. There's a Fetchmany method. And this does take in a parameter, and you can see that size, how many you want to fetch. And let's say we just wanted to fetch 3. Well, you want to fetch the top 3 results from this SQL query. So theoretically, we should get 1, 2, and 3 IDs and their usernames. So now if we go ahead and print result, save that and run, you can see that now gives us a list of 3 tuples total, and it stops right there because of the size that we gave it. If we want to change that to 4, 5, and so on. I'm actually not sure what would happen if we gave it more than what it has. I'm assuming it would just stop. Yeah, it would just stop once it reached the end, even if the size limit hasn't been met. So that's a good way you can go ahead and fetch and select from your SQLite database in Python.